Shit, me. I bet I'd never say that again. That's a lot of syllables. Hey, Corey, stop playing. We had to stop. Like none of this is the start. Stop it. We about to start. I'm not playing with you.
Ain't nothing worse than a smart dumb. Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey
Nice retwist.
I don't even know what you said. What'd you say?
Nice retwist.
Like I can't do. I play way too much. All right, welcome to another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. I'm here pretending, you know what? All right, I'm here like I told you, I tried to play it off, but I did terrible. So now I look crazy. Anyway, I'm here with Ink. This is a poet. This is somebody with a very, very amazing knack for apparel that a lot of us are already, supporting that. We are hoping that the rest of y'all continue to do. This is a multifaceted individual, and I'm looking forward to seeing like what we talk about to highlight and accentuate that. So welcome.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
All right. So yeah, definitely my intro was all right, but it didn't tell you enough. So let you tell more about yourself.
Was this supposed to be prepared?
No.
Okay, cool. What's good? My name is Corey, but I also go by Ink on stage. I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland, 26 years old. I born and raised in the DMV and currently live in DC. I can have access to all the lovely mics and art scene. Um, and yeah, what kind of you want like college too? I went to University of Maryland, studied psychology. Was actually planning to become a therapist. I was thinking about this the other day. When I was growing up, I always was saying I want to be a therapist. I was saying I want to be a motivational speaker and an entrepreneur because my family was always in the business.
Right.
Like there's like a family restaurant. My uncle was like the first black senator of Maryland, I think. So he had like a bail bonds, like heavily involved in the community and stuff. So yeah, I was always entrepreneur, knew I wanted to own a business,
Right.
motivational speaking, and then therapy because I love psychology. Um
Okay.
After going through college, like senior year, I kind of decided I did not want to get a PhD, like straight out of college.
Okay. Okay.
And I was really into personal training actually. And I also graduated during COVID. So this was in 2020. They kicked us off campus and stuff. Couldn't really do the personal training, was gonna like mix that with psychology.
Hmm.
Life got a bit
Right.
crazy. Oh, quite crazy for a
Right.
while. Um, and ended up actually starting like my first clothing brand. It's called Workout Black.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, a lot of black empowerment stuff going on then. And then I was in the fitness. I was just combine everything I'm
Yeah.
interested in, kind
Yeah.
of. So then my first brand ended up working at Under Armour for a bit because I hadn't had the, I would say, confidence and stuff to get that first professional position while the world was kind of ending, or at least what it felt like. Worked at Under Armour for like 2 years. Um, all this time I like actually wasn't really doing poetry and stuff too. Like
Mm.
I did poetry a little bit in like high school. Took like a break during college and yeah, I was just going in a lot of different places. Worked at Under Armour just to be around clothes kind of get a little feel for that while I was trying to do my own thing. And ended up spending a lot of money on stuff business wise, was in like maxed out credit cards and stuff for a while. Um Later ended up finding poetry again after I like came out the closet, which is like its own thing, but came back to poetry and yeah, this is like 3 years after that point.
Okay. So yeah. So all of that was set up to about 2020, and that's when it's like random people like myself see somebody come in, and I think you said if that wasn't the first, it might have been your first, but that one pure poetry that like those were some of your early performances, or.
So pure, when did I my first pure poetry was like 2 years ago. So that was
Mhm.
probably after or yeah, towards the end of the year, my first year coming back out. So that would be 2023.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I remember that. It was at Caldi's rooftop, I think so.
Yeah, one of the rooftop joints, yeah, for sure.
And so yeah, that was I don't know, even I would really just say like the past 3 months are like me really coming back out and like taking it serious.
Yeah,
Like I thought I was taking it serious before, but it was just now let me hit this thing real quick.
right,
But like for therapeutic processes or purposes, now it's like I don't know, I could like make something different out of it.
right. Let me ask you that, like, where I'm sure your mindset had to change on that. What did you feel about poetry as a not necessarily a business, but like a revenue stream or whatever? Whether it was how you felt like somebody else, the fact that somebody else is doing it, and then like would you get into it versus now? I imagine that's a different thought process about it.
Yeah, I'll so to kind of go back with I've always wanted to do sort of like motivational speaking in some sort of way.
Right,
I would say it connects more to that, but my original interest in poetry was just like I can rhyme pretty well and it entertains people.
right,
Um, so like doing that in high school was like purely for fun. And then even when I came back on the scene, it was kind of relearning that, oh yeah, I have this skill that I just like put in my pocket and like did not think too much about. And then when I did start getting featured more, doing some more competitions and stuff, especially for like slams, that was kind of showing me like what poetry could do like in that space. But
right,
then after like looking at that space for a while, like because I'm very curious person naturally. So I'm like, okay, what are the kind of things that get a person featured? And then what does that look like on a big scale? And then I realized, oh, people don't just get featured for poetry, or people don't just get featured for their writing or something necessarily. I'm actually not very versed in like I don't know if I would call it like traditional poetry, but like, or like, I don't necessarily read a lot of poetry.
yeah,
I wasn't very, like versed in that area, which I feel like is probably like its own thing with its own methodology, for lack of a better term, when it comes to the business side and stuff. So just thinking of like performance poetry and people who are like doing it at a big scale, I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't think like the writing.
or
What?
I whatever. People, I will get to it. Now you gave me like another topic. Like people who do this on it, I know what you meant, but I hate it. You should have said that in somebody else's podcast. That's my fault. Go ahead.
But no, yeah, I don't know. It's part of the reason I even decided to start the brand. It's kind of like what are those other things that poets keep on their belt, and then you like everybody who's in the poet in a poetry scene, whatever their city is, I think would know like poets tend to have like so many other interests, whether it be what they're doing in their professional career. Like we got a lot of are you comp sci, right? Or
Yeah,
computer?
yeah, yeah. That was my
Um,
background.
like a bunch of people like into that. I know some people like into real estate. It's just so much. There's so many like different types of people when it comes to poetry, and poetry is like kind of like that front facing thing that we would see when we meet people at mics, and that comes with like a lot of commonality and stuff. So like just getting to know the community more too. I feel like kind of just learn like everybody has all these things kind of going on. So it's like, how can I, to the best of my ability, use what interest I have and just kind of combine them
Right,
and
right.
so,
No, that's great. Now I think you started to learn and continue to learn that like the answer is nobody else is you. Just
yeah.
like where I am is because nobody, you know what I mean? Like it's a uniqueness and it's a own lane. So I forgot one of my points. One of them hopefully come back. I'm not a. I'm also not a. Um, I came. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Any Edgar Allan Poe poem. Never mind. You know what I mean? Like never mind famous. You know what I mean? I don't just sit. And unfortunately, I don't read now. I don't read as many of my peers' poetry books. That's not on purpose. That's just I don't have time. You know what I mean? So I'm quick to buy a book. That's why I ain't never. So by the way, just in case somebody thought that was high. And if you haven't read my book yet, but you purchased it, like, thank you for buying my book. I'll be all right. You know what I mean? Like, we'll start, we'll start there. But we have that in common though. Like, yeah, it's just like life and experience and picking up on the fly is what's helping you, continue to mold what you have. So that's what I think the first thing is you don't do it traditional good. Like, that's what got you here. You know what I mean? Now each of us will benefit from being students of it more, right? But like, don't first I got to read more and then I can continue. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you're gonna keep learning on the fly because these experiences that you get are gonna be they really experience really is the best teacher. Yeah, you tried to piss me off with the super modesty, so I don't know if that was the original point or you added that, but thank you. Like, we're gonna get into that because it's like eventually or now, I don't know. That's a lot of people. Like, the people I know are fire, but are still. I think part of the push is, but I'm trying to arrive yet whole time. That was like last year, but it's like there's something that you feel like you got to achieve. So how about that? I guess it's now. Like, how would you compare your thought about you as an artist then when you didn't feel like, to like now knowing what you accomplished, but still being again this overly modest pissing me off.
I feel so to kind of bring up that or to go on that point. I hope I answered the question while I think about this. When I started, I had like a so much ego because I knew I could write, but I also was never like trained. I was in like poetry club like when I was younger, like in
Yeah.
high school, but I've never like been taught how to write. So I was just like, if I ever got taught, I would be dangerous. And I like very self-aware about that, but also not self-aware when it came to, for lack of a better term, like the politics of it.
Okay.
Um, so because I understand that more and respect it more, I feel like that's another thing where I'm just kind of like, oh, that was young Corey. This is like, okay, you've grown up. And I know I'm 26. I'm still a baby.
Right.
I've, I've just been able to mature so
Right.
much with the ego aspect of it, which I feel like is so important. Being in
Yeah.
like a creative space, like at a high level. So there are like things that I'm like self-aware about, mostly because to where I used to be with it, like just mentally infantile in certain ways when it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just spit this piece that I know is great. Like every crowd does not react the same to, every kind of piece. Like there are so many things that kind of go into, like I kind of said, but my main thing at the time was like why someone gets featured. And like my main thing right now, I guess this would be like the answer to the question of that switch is how can I build community? So it's
Mm.
being on top of the stage, it's the people who are consuming it. There are like a solid maybe three or four components that I would say to a mic. You got the host, the audience, the headliner ish, if there is one, um, and kind of like all of that together. Maybe something like about the energy, the establishment, something like a little more less tangible. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of like always focused on like how can I be like the headliner, attention, and also not just attention, but what's the word? Um, external validation.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like how can I kind of like calm that down, focus on these other areas, nourish myself as an artist when it comes to that too. Um, and I think I'm like past. I keep saying 3 months. My sense of time is off because we are like 2 months into the year,
Right.
so like more five. I feel like I'm like just getting that when I came back to it. So like another thing, I took a break last year. That was like 6 months. I think
Mm-hmm.
I went to when people would like directly text me about mics, I would go to them. So like I know Will had a feature. I know Mucho was doing something. And I came out to those events. No intent really like thinking about performing or anything because I was just in like a weird space on my art. Um, but yeah, once I came back from that, my whole mindset about things has changed. So
Yeah, it's I'm really about to start jotting points down because you're like it's like amazing follow up, and then something goes. First of all, so that that's what was like. We love getting on, our younger poets and shit like that, and it's funny, that, you know what I mean. But in reality, you went through your college experience. You finished your college experience in COVID, like like 3 years of y'all, or four, so like six graduating classes, and then whatever else, fall, spring has that experience. I can't tell you nothing about that, right? So there's that. And then now you're out in the quote unquote real world, learning in real time. So now, like, you here and 3 years ago are completely different people, and 5 years ago, you know what I mean, are completely different people. And that deserves its an acknowledgement. Like, little age jokes out the way. Like, let's be for real. You know what I mean? Um,
Shorty was wilding. Shorty, I don't know what was going on with.
See, I don't, I think, is that where we
I'm
at? Are we
thinking,
reliving college days? Like, I didn't.
it's just so interesting to think. Even if you think about like how friendships have changed
Yeah,
and like that, it's like I'm just it's easy to say I'm not the person I used to be, but to actually like feel it and live it,
right,
like who I used to be could not be doing these things that I'm living in now and the things that I'm saying like I want. So
right, right, exactly. Like, where, yeah, where you'll look back, even if you say, because I don't know how you feel, if you're saying like, man, that person was playing too much, but like, even if you say like 2025 me was solid and on point, and when you look back at that in 2030, you still gonna be like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, you absolutely. I mean, not only should that happen, that better be happening. Like,
yeah,
you're nowhere near peaking, right? You shouldn't be nowhere close to that right now. So it's but you're having, but you, as a lot of us will tell you, and you might try to downplay, or maybe you don't realize it because it's you. Like, you're very much wise beyond, beyond whatever what's the age. So it's like some of these lessons you're learning when you say infantile mind. Like, I know people that don't have that, and they my
like
number, they higher, you know what I mean? Like,
I like to say I'm 32 in spirit, at
yeah,
least
yeah.
82,
There you
depending on.
go. There you go. That's it. That's exactly what you are. That's why a lot of us. I think the first time. I mean, you like. I think the first, like, people interact with you, then they finally ask you. It's like, what the? No, you're not. Like, why would you lie to me like that? So that's what another thing that, like, kind of is your personality, and then duality of that, and the range of that is also fun. Really dope. Um,
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Not just how I look.
Um,
It plays such a part in what I do too. Does anything professionally? Actually, I don't see it as much in like my actual job and stuff, like the professional world with that. It's more like the creative stuff. It's like
yeah.
that shock factor that people get.
Okay,
That
but don't
their
you?
whole ego thing because I look 12, so people treat me like I'm
Yeah, yeah,
12.
yeah, yeah. Right. Till you
It's
get it.
so annoying because I'm like, but
Right,
then it's like, oh, you never know. You really never know. So.
right, right, right. So, okay, don't you? But like, are you just like this at work? Like, don't you have a different code switch for work?
Um, yes, for this job now. So I recently got a job for federal government. I still do have my job because I'm in the legislative branch.
Okay, because that's, yeah, we not sure. Praise to that, and hey, prayers up for those who are not on the friendly side of that for real. But that's
I
a mess.
really just am. I say that I'm lucky to be here a lot, but I'm just like, yo, I really applied to a job that is I'm not having to go through that stuff. At least right now, if something were to happen to my job, Congress would have to pass the bill, and there's a process with that.
Right.
But professional me. I guess will be yeah, I do have a code switch. Depending on the person ish. I wouldn't really know how to describe it. I guess how earlier I was talking quite analytically, it'd be like a lot of that.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, and I guess also, I honestly, that could have just been a statement just to make it. And my first was like, why? You know what I mean? What are the reasons it could be? But like, yeah, also, artists, surrounding space, and actually want to comment to you, on, I didn't expect this from you type thing is like it. For many reasons, you might not do that as much in professional, but it wasn't about analyzing why. It was just a statement, right? So I don't even, we don't even need to stay on that. But oh, what did you just say? What did you just say? That reminded me of something. What did you like in general? I know what you. Yeah. Can you at a high level repeat what you said? Because I feel like I have bounced off of that.
With the code switching at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, working in like so this will be my second professional position.
Hmm.
When I did get a professional position outside of after getting out of Under Armour, I was an academic department administrator at George Washington University. It's pretty much I was like an operations manager. Did a little finance, a little event planning, a little HR for a department. I moved up in that pretty quickly and kind of learned that I was, even though it was my first professional position, I was still like overqualified. Because like once you can learn the skills, I feel like admin, this to anybody watching this,
Right.
if you back out of college, admin job is like perfect because all you need to do is be organized. If you have a college, you don't need a college degree for it, I feel, but you have a college degree, like you could, it's a good way to get into the professional field. But
Right.
then I gained a lot of confidence, I'll say, just like from that position, realizing how qualified I was for it. And I that's a point where I was just like, my resume like speaks for itself. So there are certain like levels of code switching that I do because I'm like, okay, I got into this government job. I'm feeling like it's fancier when it's really just not. It just takes you 6 months longer to get it, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I was where I work and people are like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, it's like it just takes you longer to get the position.
Right.
I became more confident in my resume, um, and just confident in the ability that I know that I can learn something. Like whatever the task is, just give me some time. I know I can get it. So with the looking young and how people treat me and such, it's not the same professionally versus creatively, I feel, because I really know I have that backing. And it's just a different modality. I don't know the word, but it's just a different like environment. So even if someone were to kind of look at me or treat me a certain way, it's just kind of like, I mean, I'm gonna get the job done and do it great. Typically, if someone is like saying that I'm not, then I don't want to say like all the time they're tripping, but it's kind of like I
Right.
don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. Like that's just kind of
Right.
the kind of work I am. When it comes to creativity and stuff, though, in general in the space, like I said, I probably will keep coming back to like there's a lot of ego in certain ways, and ego even that I have to like watch with myself. So I would even say like in our space, maybe like more of it is me projecting like how I know I look and feeling like I have to kind of overcome that, especially when I go to like a new audience.
Hmm.
Whereas like I don't know, professionally, it's kind of like I already got the badge and I'm already here.
Right.
Um, so yeah, there's like a level of still feeling like I have to prove myself in certain ways when it comes to the space.
Okay. All right. So that's a good one. So pretty much, more than likely, the real difference why professionally, you don't really get it much is because of the badge.
Potentially.
Not from, and when I say that, that means from the next person. That doesn't have nothing to do with your actual capabilities. It's just more than likely like so. It's like in 2 seconds they probably scan. Oh, because I've heard enough from colleagues like all of y'all younger people, somebody can't stand y'all. You know what I mean? Because you're the ops for some people, right? Like some people who are living off of this job. I've heard them stories. So yes, some of the old, not everybody, but somebody along the way is talking, right? But they try to scam, try to play you, but then it's here and it's what is there to argue, right? So I get that. Would you say, do you feel like you have that now? You personally, that you have that now professional, I mean, I'm sorry, artistically, poetically, like, nah, that's Ink who, what I mean, has accomplished this. Do you feel like you got that or you feel like I gotta accomplish, whatever?
I would say yes-ish, more so now, mostly because my intention has changed though.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was chasing more, let's kind of say headliner things, like just being like that person or that
Right.
poet, um, versus it's like if my goal now is, like my main goal is to serve community. I want to grow as a poet. That would be like secondary. Like specifically in slam, like I really want to get into that maybe when the business becomes a little more self-sufficient. Um, but yeah, I would say I say yes-ish though, because I feel like there's still part of me that wants recognition in certain ways from certain people. Um, and I'm more so I'm trying to like fight against that though now than to try and get it or to try and like be in front of this person or be on the stage because I'm like all of that will like come when it's time. Um, so yeah, like I said, most of it is I haven't really thought about that too much because I just know there's so much I still personally have to work on.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's part like just kind of like mini break the fourth wall. I gotta start finding a way like as the host to be like to stop that point or let you build on that because that's what'll happen. I'm like, oh, she's cooking, let you go for what I mean, make that great point, and then it's like, dang, I forgot to do my follow up. But I'm so glad that you brought community. Like I'm here, that's my goal for community because and you already made the point like these things, all them other things come with the intentions,
Right.
being a lot more pure and a lot more positive. And people still don't know that either. Like I don't have to, scheme and scam through a community to get places. Like actually multiple doors have been opened for both of us because of a positive personality, and an unselfish, and that's why, what I mean, like you're about to do what you're about to do, right? Like it's absolutely okay. And for you, I'm gonna remind or just, and whoever needs to hear this, it is okay to make money while doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And that's we gotta. It's you're not the serving the community. Well, did I if I'm getting it if I can pay rent, like am I still really for the? It's like yeah, like go fulfill fill yourself so that you can be that serving for everybody. As far as like kind of building up and having interest in slam, why? And like judging, what is wrong with you?
What you wait?
Like you want to do something, y'all want to, y'all do a slam on purpose, like intentionally. That's a yeah, no, but for real, I didn't like why. How did that become like join the interest?
Um, it's I know that if I sat down and tried, I would do amazing.
Hmm.
It's literally like that kind of satisfaction of it. Um, I love the dopamine from it.
Yeah,
It's very, and then it's kind of like when you do like wind slams and stuff, the times that I've won slams, I'm not gonna say it's always been like shocking, but I think it really just teaches you something new. So I had made a goal to like go to a slam just every month, just for like the practice of having my stuff scored.
right.
That was like a big anxiety. I was like, oh, why would somebody want to get into this? Kind of weird. This is like, how do you actually judge this versus this? All these things. And also, I don't think I write typical slam style or typical slam topics. Now, you could say that maybe there is not a typical slam style or typical slam topics, and then people who are like really
Be
unique.
wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but there are a lot of opinions on this topic, I suppose. But yeah, I feel that I've I'm just always like, how can I do like my style? Because I really like my style, and I think my style is really dope. Not that I don't think anybody else does it necessarily, but I think I just do it really well. So I'm like, if I could see that at its highest level, like I'm going to be successful.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just kind of
yeah.
like I want to see like what that looks like. That's how I feel about it now. If you asked me like a year ago, I'd been like, oh yeah, I'm a good writer, or just say something like along those lines, which is true. But yeah, now it's just like another challenge to kind of figure out, kind of like same thing in business. Like you turn this knob or you do this thing until it like really works. And my most recent slam win was against two really good slammers who like do slam too, which kind of just shows you anybody. I don't want to say just anybody can win, like I'm just anybody, but if you go on a different day,
Right.
kind of
It can be
crowd,
your night.
I personally think there are a lot of gay women in the crowd that night, and that's why I won.
That's- I hate I hate it again. You have pissed me off a
It's
second time.
probably it's
Congratulations. Yeah.
no, it's like it just kind of yeah, kind of like just goes to show like you just gotta go, you just gotta try it out.
You were doing so well. It's like I mean the only reason I won is for
Not the
Uh,
only reason, but I do think it played a part in it.
did you know there are a lot of gay women in poetry? I don't know if you know.
I'm learning a lot about that. There are more than you think.
Wow. That was an amazing comment. That was amazing. But that's my point. Like, why is that even a fact? Like, why is that even coming up? I mean, it was humans in the crowd this time. Like, uh, you won
Nah.
because you got the biggest score. And you're absolutely right. Like, so, okay, here's to your point, right? Black Chakra, we just had that Tuesday, February 25th. They just did Charm City Slam. He was the feature, right? Ed Mabry came through and won. When you talk about styles and content, yes, a lot of people have a lot of the same, X enter, but some people, change, have switch up the style and do it well enough to still, to still reach somebody's palate, because that's the difference. When you talk about scoring something, you want to go against the grain. That's cute. If you don't execute, your score gonna say one thing, right? Ed Mabry is at the point. I swear he freestyles damn near all of them, and wins, right? So, but last week, Black Chakra was participating. Black Chakra, Ephraim Nehemiah, who was Ebony Stewart. It was Ed Mabry. It was Masterpiece, who is an amazing poet. If anybody does not know, definitely go check her out. And I do not remember. I don't think I know the sixth person. So no disrespect to them. But if they was in that class with them five others, then you got some talent, right? Ed Mabry did not place in that slam,
Mm.
right? So Saturday, that's like a Saturday, and then you come this next week and you are the winner, right? That's the point, is just corroborating. Like, yes, when you do this, that's why you do this. Like a basketball player, they play 82 games. You're not going to win all of them, but
Hmm.
you're just trying to win enough to keep it going. You know what I mean? So, like, yes, that's a great point. So you do your poetry. You go to this slam, you won this slam. You do another slam, you got second, you was doing cool. You go to this slam, and they announce the scores, and we have a low of 7.9. How are you reacting to that? And let's say that's the one that got thrown out. That was the first one. So they didn't even count in your actual score, but somebody had the nerve to listen to your shit and say 7.9. Like, how do you approach that?
Now I just think about, I feel like a slam is a lot about um paying attention to what this is in my opinion. Paying attention to kind of what the judges are wanting. Um I've talking to like, okay, let me actually answer your question. How do I feel? I'm just thinking about like, I would just think about like, what's the next piece I need to do? Um, because especially like if I have pieces that have won slams, kind of like you were saying with the Ed Mabry thing, it's kind of like it's not about the writing. It's well, sometimes it's about the writing, but it's about like placement too.
Yes,
So something like Retro was telling me, he's another wonderful slam poet in
shout out
Baltimore.
Retro.
Um, like the energy like from the pieces that the people are hearing before, like how are you playing with mood in the room, I think is very important. If you're doing like I've never done a slam where you're going like head to head, but there's like their own things that like come with that, like you going first versus you going like
Right,
so I feel like you're coming with like you have your catalog, your arsenal of what you're going to use when you're going into it already. I feel like I don't have like a huge catalog even, so I don't even it's not like I have a whole bunch of pieces I would necessarily be thinking about. So it's just kind of like, okay, what pieces am I going to do like first, second, third? It's usually like 3 rounds. Do I need to switch that up? And then I'm paying attention to the other, like what the other artists are doing like right before me. How do the crowds react like audibly to how they're doing it for like the other slammers? How can I don't want to say how can I mimic it, but how can I bring that out with my piece? Um so yeah, and it's about, I feel as well, bringing like your pieces to the stage like in their best form for the way that you would perform them and do them. So for me right now, I think it's like a very personal thing. Like I said, especially since I don't have like huge catalog. Um, and just like performing it the best way that I can, like picking the right piece and performing it the best way I can.
Right,
That's
right.
kind of like all you can do because everybody else has their other stuff that they're kind of going in with. I don't like sit down and write people's scores out and stuff and like add up and
Right,
I don't be doing all that.
right.
I try to have some more fun with it still now. Which is why I say like in a year, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'll be
No,
dangerous.
y'all gonna know me now. But so again, so many opportunities to be a student. Like doing slam, Retro's been doing this thing for a minute, but y'all have like at least some kind of like willing to give free game and get back and forth. That's amazing. Like Black Chakra is very like a lot of slammers at this point are very open with take. We ain't even gotta look far. You just gotta listen and apply the general concepts. So it's like that's also what's going to help you is your willingness to be that student. You're like, yeah, I want this W, so I'm gonna put that that work in and really be a student again and learn the craft and all that. So that's fire and that's important. Like even me getting into continuing to be a battle rap fan, like they do that too. Like you'll hear it after the fact, and I would have never thought about it. They're like, yes, I wrote my 3 rounds, and so we got there. And I was like, nah, so I'm gonna do my third round second because I was just,
Yeah.
what I mean, stuff like that. Like so all that comes into the importance of not even just the writing, but the memorization. Because now when you know it back and forth, then it's, now that's when you shift it. That's when you can really have some fun. Now it's not, oh, what's that next word?
Add another thing too. I feel like as I've gotten better, and by better I mean like more comfortable on stage with it, that's a
Yeah.
huge part. Like you have to really just like believe in your pieces. There's a quite a bit of like dissociating from the pieces. I
Mhm.
feel that makes the process like a lot better. Because if you're feeling some type of way about getting scored, I think it's something that does Kenneth say it during Charm, where he's like scoring the
Yeah.
piece, not the poet
Yeah,
or
we're
something.
not going to piece that they were storing the story or the storytelling, something along those
Right,
lines.
yeah, like the articulation, the theatrics, like all of how the delivery is happening. And
Right,
it's not like the story. And I feel like being able to kind of like disassociate from the piece a bit and just turn into like that performer. I don't personally think it's bad or unhealthy either. Like it feels kind of pretty cool when you can um not manipulate, but have that like certain like amount of control over your emotions too, to really like just deliver it in the way that you want in
right,
that time. And that
right,
can be a different way, at a feature or at another slam. So it's just another way I think to fall in love with your own work too.
right.
Um, so
Right. Yeah, just a really dope a challenge, I guess, for people. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't. A lot of people will get thrown off by 7 9. Like now they're like, man, all right, let me let me find another, validation, etc. So it's like, how do you shake that, or make sure you shake that? It's like that's that one. Again, that's that right. Judge, like, what's next? You know what I mean? So very important, but like that's a thing that'll stop people. I'm not. I'm First, I just briefly like and slam comes up a lot. I have no intention of doing it personally. It would be fun to learn, but I feel like I do that everywhere I go anyway. As far as like on the fly, delivering this, following the theme or not following the theme and making that work is another skill. So it's like that's fun. Um, I don't know. I don't personally. It's not like It's like yeah, let me go get that win. But I fully respect. Like yeah, you've conquered this. Here's another challenge right there. That was such a good reason in and of itself. So yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And again, we see what else you do when you put your mind to it. We get success.
I'm about to say when I do it, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
it's a wrap.
Yeah, they got time. They got time to prep, and I love, what I'm saying. I love we heard it earlier. I can't wait to come back. You know what I mean? Because you already, how many wins have you chalked up? Is it one or is it a few?
I have at least three.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah. So right, three,
I think
three. Yeah.
at least two second places.
Okay.
I wasn't counting the second places at first, and I was like, oh,
Mm.
that's like, sometimes that's like point 0.3 away or something.
Right.
It's kind of like all to be, yeah. I have gotten on stage and like during a slam and forgot.
Uh,
I feel like that would be something that'd be interesting to get into, like because just thinking about things that make you more comfortable with your work and yourself, like as an artist, um, people, I don't know, getting on a stage, and this was a stage that I like qualified for, so I had to win a slam
mm.
to be at this slam. And to be honest, I was already getting paid for it, so I wasn't thinking a whole bunch about. I wasn't too too pressed off winning. It was just kind of like oh yeah, I'm already getting paid. I know I'm
Right.
gonna go here, so
Right.
I'm gonna just. And I got on stage and blanked out during at the time one of my most popular pieces.
Oh, so it's like I know, and yeah, we can definitely talk about that. Oh, I hate your segue. Oh, I hate your segue. That's crazy, but also fire.
Yeah, that was a day. That was
Yo,
a day.
she came on my show and segued for me, and it was an amazing. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go be professional. That's amazing. Please continue.
I like to say all of that stuff is part of the process, though.
100%. 100%. So I've seen people. The one, the only reason I did it was because it was a competition, not a slam, and I'm cool with that. We got judged anyway. It was a fucking slam. But no, it was funny. Caleb was like, nah, because this isn't going, directly by, I'd seen Charm City, I'd seen Slam. Like, this ain't no slam. This is going to be a couple people perform and somebody wins. But somebody completely blanked on a fire piece. Like, they win if they don't, like, easily. You know what I mean? The beauty of the like I know she, of course you want the prize, but it was like all of us that really like just bonded as like we're here for this. So of course, and it was still it was a great balance. It was competitive, but we not hating on the next person. Like we know we're all, serving a cause. So that was dope. That even I've seen people that knew they weren't gonna or didn't have that confidence and they bring their phone up and they read
Mhm.
slam and they score high, but people they're gonna take points off because this person
Yeah,
memorized it, yours didn't. Like it's just gonna happen. But
right.
sometimes it's better to it'll be like that'd have been better if yeah that ain't gonna score no 29. So I get it.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's impressive. When someone reads off the phone and like scores high and stuff, like even though it's just like, what could it have been?
Yeah, exactly. And that's usually what people, so that's why you slam a lot. So that people can come to you on this one and say, why don't you have that memorized? Go memorize it. Then like 3 days later, they go clear that slam. You know what I mean? Just an easy one. So, um,
Yeah, but just yeah, to speak on like forgetting, it's such like a when that happened specifically, it shook me up. So I was just so disappointed. Like that's just the best way to put it. Is
yeah,
just kind of like you should know what you're doing.
right,
There are
right,
certain things people expect from you, especially in an environment like this.
right. This is
And
not the
like
time. Yeah,
might not be your piece. Like what's going on? What actually was going on, like I said, I hadn't practiced a lot that day. I didn't feel like I needed to, so it was just like a little over cocky. Had already gotten paid for it, so that the stakes were a little different.
right.
Um yeah. And then I don't know that I've during many more slams have forgotten stuff. But still, when I do it, and for me, it takes me a while to memorize things. Like I have to forget on stage probably twice before I'm like I really got that thing,
Right,
and not just like picking it up at a place that I'm not supposed to. Or some people, I was like, you just never see them like
right.
do so.
Whole time they did.
Yeah,
They
100%. So
just
it's
play it off so well. I'm sorry. Cloud, Cloud, Cloud did it. And I was like, and then I hit bro on the side. I guess I'll just not say which one it was because he's so he's somehow he's too modest and also perfect perfect at it too. But like yeah y'all okay I'm just trying to be like y'all type. But yes that's a big difference and then we're gonna get back to your point.
that's a good thing to
I
bring.
gotta speak to that.
You, you gotta just like I think it's wonderful to be in situations like that because how you react and
Right,
stuff, one, the audience, especially if you're a good writer, they don't give a fuck about that.
right,
They're just, oh no, you're gonna get it.
right.
And they're just,
That never helps.
it
But it's
doesn't,
okay.
they're in awe of you as a writing or you as a writer or whatever.
Yeah,
So it's really like you and yourself.
right,
They're just kind of trying to, it's how you react. I feel like in those moments
right.
that is a bunch of ways you can go with it. You like, okay, let me not take myself too serious. I am human. I am like forgetting right now. How can we like the more I find that I relax, the better it'll be to
That's how
kind of
you
like
get through it.
gotta try and relax. And then the skill of like you should one should, I feel, if you're trying to do it at certain levels,
Right.
or just a way to get over that would be to kind of practice when you would mess up or what to do when you mess up.
Right.
Knowing where like the next pickups are, I would add a little hand gesture or something audible to be able to pick up at least like that next stanza.
Yes.
I don't enjoy repeating things. I hate running a whole piece back. Personally, for me, I feel like it's again like a move through thing. So when I forgot on that stage for that slam, stood my ass there for like 15 seconds. And I got back right where it ended off at. And I was like, we
At
calmed
least we
ourselves down.
did that. Right. So everything isn't did I win or did I not win? Like
Yeah.
that right there was a victory as far as now I got that. You know what I mean?
Hey, I didn't walk off the stage because
Thank you. Damn sure could have. Right. And that's what we people like people have to there's so many things, there's so many victories and lessons learned if you look at it from that. If you just look at it as what score did I get at this slam? Did I win or did I not? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna cheat yourself. The whole yeah, what are you doing up on the stage when it's currently happening? You can beat yourself. We can beat ourselves up later. You know what I'm saying? Like we can
yeah,
over
yeah, there'll
like
be time for that.
it's not this and this is not that time. Like get through it. So I mean, yeah, you were there. I did a whole episode
Yeah, I watched it.
out of that, right? Out of that. It was so and I'm glad I happened in 2025 for me to see how much differently. I would like for it to never happen again because I had just forgot my piece in December at Charm City.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the open mic portion. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta get that back. I gotta get that back in blood. I tried to get it back. I think it was like no, it was January. Unfortunately, everybody else wanted to perform because it was a fire slam. But like I owe a flawless, to myself in front of a charm audience. Because even that one was, they was receiving it well. It's like you, you has a side note. I have messed up performances in front of the truth a lot. I don't I don't know if it's a coincidence. It's not her, what I mean? Like it's not her fault. But like I was thinking Charm City, right? Charm City, she was the host there. I was like, okay, I've had enough of this. So even my feature was like, okay, none of that, you know what I'm saying? None of that happened. She was very much there, very much did a piece that,
Mhm.
shut the building down and there was still, also still space for the rest of us. So that was yeah, shout out to the truth. Yeah, shout out to the truth. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, that was a point I had made. Like I ad lib freestyle. Nobody needs to know until I'm like, hey y'all, I
Mhm.
forgot my part. It was supposed to be, and you know what I mean. Just say like nobody, and even if somebody knows the poem,
Mhm.
like oh they switched it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I have
like
a song right there. I like
yeah,
that.
right. And then you get out the station like nigga. So nah, it's just it's performance based and it's poise based, and I think that's what's so beautiful about poetry. That's gonna make your transition to public speaking. It's like, oh, we've already gone through these scenarios.
Mhm.
Like, what can y'all shock me with these days? Yeah, I'm getting paid more, but this is cakewalk.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Absolute cakewalk.
Oh, it's so cool. And like I said, I feel like it's part of the process. Like it's gonna, I say it's part of the process, and I say it's probably gonna happen again. Calm
We
down.
try our best, right? We try our best to minimize it, but
I react, we can only control after you done forgot it already. How do you react in that moment?
right,
Up, down, get your brain back on, depending on the piece, like that autopilot.
right. Right. And then get back to it, learn from some, apply it to the next. But yeah, having a piece with like a bunch of, if you can do it, with a bunch of like exit shoots, and we can
Mm.
pivot this way. You do it a little bit. I was thinking about that. You have this is my full written, you used to do this a lot 2 years ago. Like, this is my written version. This is my open mic version. Oh, then you'll tell us, forgot the line over. You know what I mean? Like, you would tell her yourself, but even
Yeah,
that's fire, like to have versions of it is just, it's all about like flexibility and adaptability, and I think, that's huge on slam, but you can do that elsewhere, you know what I mean?
I'm curious, but kind of like to go how I don't like write for slam.
Yeah,
I'm just making like my pieces that are like emotional pieces,
yeah,
not like intentionally per se, like technically written. Um, and then I typically it's what I call the skeleton. So that'd be like the long version where I'm just getting it all out. It's like getting it all out, but also organizing it. Like so there's a sequence. And then there's like the slam version that's like typically about 3 minutes. It's like how can I get this point across with the least amount?
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Um, and still keep a little bit of like stuff that'll be like for like one person that gets a line or something that only like the person will get if it's about someone
sure.
or something like that. I'll keep like a little bit of that in, but try to just stay on theme.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I feel like I don't really know, I guess, how regular slam writers do it, but I would assume it's kind of like that main thing. Because like my skeleton would be like 5 minutes long.
right. Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's in general. It's like, okay, get the point. Yes. Like in general, do not act like I must write the next line for my final piece. Like, no, that's a huge one for people that, to try to learn. Like, get all these thoughts out. Now let's pick the best stuff. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So like that's one thing I love about these workshops, that I think they're taking a break now, but yeah, Ephraim Nehemiah, Black Chakra, Goddess Tamani, and shout out to Rebirth for helping facilitate that. But like, now I'm learning, now I'm like, how many 2.5, 3 minute pieces can I get off that's still my style and it's not for slam, but it's like, yeah, pack all, like, there, do more, punch more, like, bar more, they mean, like every other one needs to be it, so that by 3 minutes you didn't, they're like, shh, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to last 4 or 5 minutes. So that's a great just skill in general, you know what I mean? But it's required at slam. You're gonna lose points if you don't, but it's a great one to just have in a bag for sure. Yeah, yeah. But the flexibility is again, the adaptability is like, and you can't do that. That's another thing for everybody. You can't sit on the side and like, I'm not gonna do this until I do this like y'all.
Yeah,
You gotta get out there. That's the best teacher.
100%.
You
100.
know.
I mean, I can say
That's
that in the slam, but like
yeah, no, I'm not saying man.
okay.
It's like, no, I don't know. I've been so okay. When I still had a lot of work to do, I went to a slam in Texas and just did something. And it wasn't even like, this ain't even my top, I'm not like there yet. But they gave me like a five something. It was just like a crowd, like random crowd judging, you know what I mean? So it's like, nah, and then even the competition, people was rocking with it, but everybody's not a poet. So I've done that, and it's just like, all right, again, I don't, the competition is, can I wow people, anytime I go like that. So, okay, here was a win for me as of when this is recording. The previous day I was in Richmond, Virginia, right? So we had just went to this Tuesday venue that was amazing, and I hate I forget their name, so I like shout them out, you know what I mean, or post it right. Just a dope vibe, poet, singers, a dancer, like, but everybody's just here for it and just energy and all that. Then we go to a cigar bar, and it's like, poetry was secondary, and the people treated it like that. I mean, you've been there, been there in this environment, just talk like they were competing with the microphone. Like, no, y'all gonna hear me. I don't care what they saying, right? So I'm blown, right? I'm like, we just had a great experience on that Tuesday. Let me just say my little piece and get out. Like, I'm so like, over y'all. When I tell you pin drop when I walked up, and I did not expect that.
Mm.
Like, but the whole shout out Mo knows, like this was, hey, I'm about to do this thing. Are you pulling up? So he's just bigging
Yeah.
me up. So I guess that helped. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, what is it? This dude that came from out of town and you just kept getting his name, all that. And lines hit and I heard it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect it there. That
Mm.
was a y'all exceeded, y'all impressed me. I was like, they're gonna sleep. I'm gonna do no dead ass. They gonna sleep. I'm gonna do this 2.5 minutes. I told who I was with, don't even record me. Like I was so over. I was like,
That's like,
I
you're
let my
like,
man
when
like,
you go out your way to tell, hey, don't even worry.
yeah, like and the whole time, and I don't know if she listened to me or not because that actually would have been, but I don't, it was that was I won't forget that no time soon. But like, that was. So other people got a little bit of love, but like that was different. That
Yeah.
was a very unique to what I did when I went up there. I did my job. The guy that runs the cigar bar, we got each other's information. I did my job. You know what I mean? So that is really what it does for me. And so I don't, so how are you gonna get me to I gotta kill everybody to I don't really have have that and you have to have that
Yeah.
for slam. And so it's like the will that somebody else is gonna do is enough is gonna be more points to me. I'm too chill. Like for that thing. People know like they don't know. They think I don't care about nothing. But it's like the things that are really get my blood boiling, like that's the thing that you getting a lot of this for. Whereas like some of this stuff is like and again, but I'll never like I love going to slam. I love the people that's doing it. You know what I mean? So shout out to you for that. Let's talk about the brand a little bit.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Nah,
talk?
you good. Like I know, right? That was a terrible segue. I'm sorry. When did yeah, but let's talk about the brand. Actually, what was the first brand? Why did you laugh that off?
Because it's just actually thinking about it, it's technically the second one. The first one I kind of took serious.
Yeah.
The very first thing I was this is this brand called Aesthetical. I wish my family has these shirts. I have no evidence of such. I was just playing around with some designs and stuff. Um, and I printed some stuff on some shirts. This was like that was in like college. And then, like I said, during COVID, I didn't have a job. Well, I've always had a job though, kind of, because like I said, I have family restaurants. I've always been like always have like a way of making money, but at the time was unemployed. I was like, okay, print up some shirts. That'd be cool. And it was called Workout Black. Black is all the letters of my name mixed up.
Hmm.
So Corey Latte, Broadwater Allen, like that would be Broadwater Latte Allen Corey. And
Okay.
then I got really into the fitness. I was doing like fitness on YouTube. This is also, I think it was my first time trying YouTube as well. And yeah, it was actually like did decent. And it was like because it was COVID, that's another thing that's like so different because I'm doing like a lot of in-person stuff and I see just a tremendous difference. Everything was like social media marketing and then like online purchases. A lot of people I knew from college, a lot of friends and a lot of family. I was doing it on Instagram and on Facebook.
Mhm.
But it was a lot of I guess I laughed it off in a way because it was a lot of like family and friends purchases, which is wonderful to have the support. Starting a business, family and friends aren't gonna make you rich.
Right.
Um, and so there was that, and then I was also printing up the shirt. So I bought a heat press because I was
Wow.
trying to do it in the most like cost efficient way. I was buying these transfers, which I think the process is called direct to filament, where you get like your graphic on a heat transfer paper, get a heat press, you buy blank shirts, print it up. I had like an LLC and everything. I invested so much money into this idea that was not proven, which is like another thing. I had a
Got
brand
my
called
nerves. Like all these jobs. Go ahead.
my LLC was called the Corey Latte Brand LLC. And I knew I was gonna have a whole bunch of stuff under it, so I didn't just name it Workout Black. I probably did Workout Black as like a DBA, like a doing business as kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, this is like one of those things, but I'm really trying to get into the personal training. Um, I had invested at a point. I got into this like scam personal training program. I'm not gonna talk about it too much now, but like all of this was like happening at once.
Right.
Like starting the like stopping the shirts for a while because I wasn't really sure how to get that reach. Then I got more into personal training. The program cost like 10K.
Mm.
So maxed out credit cards. And I was just like their perfect target, like someone who's like depressed, the world, they feel like, what the hell
Right.
is going on
This
with
is
the
my
world?
solution. Yeah. This
Yeah,
like that
they
challenge.
got me in that funnel. Oh my gosh, they got me in that funnel. And the thing is like I put the money down with like no like hesitation almost. Cause I was just like, I'm gonna make it, yeah, like and I should have been doing more research into it. Interesting to look back on now because I do realize that I believed in myself a lot, which is like dope. To like sign a $10,000 contract like on spot. It's crazy, but to be an entrepreneur, you have to not like you have to be willing to take risks.
Right.
So cool to see that I had it in me.
Was it
Mm,
the best way? No, and it's like, and but did that people will make $10,000 worth of mistakes along the way. You just did your
yeah, exactly.
in
Their
both, but
business is a charm.
right,
So
right,
um so yeah, I think I've yeah, answered your question. It was just the way I just know what I'm doing now. Well, more so than I did now. So the plethora of knowledge that I have now and I'm actually like doing, it's not just me sitting and watching videos.
right,
I mean like a researcher, just
right.
looking up how to do stuff. Like I'm taking like a lot of action on things that I wouldn't have even back then because I've been like, oh, that kind of sounds too hard. Let me go this way. Let me do the heat prep. And now I'm
Gotcha.
getting stuff shipped overseas, which is not like much harder.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's right. And no, and yeah, getting here took those, and I'm glad you jumped out there already before, and I'm glad that 10,000 didn't make you quit too. That's a fork in the road. Go ahead.
No, I'm just yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it's all part of the process, and it was very necessary for where I am now.
And if you don't, yeah, the worst thing to do is to not take nothing from it at all. So like that's worse than than way worse than yeah, you'll get that back. And I think that's why you're telling this story because you know you'll get that back if you haven't already. You know what I mean? Like that's just a little bump in the road. Part of your public speaking.
Yeah, another thing, like to kind of go off what that taught me, I became scared of debt. Like I got my shit together with credit cards, and I have like now pretty good credit and a what
Right.
do you call it? Like how much credit you can
Yeah.
use.
Yeah. I got you.
Educate.
Line of credit. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
Became very like educated when it came to that. So it was just like I'm never gonna let myself get into the situation again.
Exactly. And that's what's so ironic, or I mean, it is what it is, but about so now that you're so much more responsible, you're going to get so many more opportunities. It's a snowball effect, you know what I mean, to where you won't have to carry a balance. Probably, most times, because they say these days, everybody's saying don't even, not, or just keep wanting to pay it off, but like don't keep an interest balance. So it's like, yeah, that's all the financial pros is like, don't even play with it. You know what I mean? Just keep that steady build. Um, the this is I am so annoyed with myself. So the brand, when did this brand, and what are you, and just so for everybody knows, what are we calling this brand?
So Ink Writes Poetry
Yeah.
is the current name for it. I do feel like I will change it at some point. I've already kind of told you, the origin when you told me to make stickers. I don't even think I had the name Ink at that point.
You
Um,
didn't.
so let's
How
go
did
over
we brand
Let's
it that?
go over
Like
that a
fold
little
all that
bit.
in. Yeah.
AP and I were going to Misspoken Poets, Voices and
Vision
Power
power.
Feature
Mhm.
out in Philly on this was the beginning of October, I think, or maybe in middle of September.
Yeah, it was late. Yeah, yeah. I want to say October, but yeah,
I
late.
had just got off my little 6 month hiatus and started performing again, maybe like a month, but like some chill, like couple mics. Was like I wanted to travel. I had hit up a couple people and been like I wanted to travel more. Misspoken Poet was like, oh, I'm actually going to be featuring. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, perfect. JP and I end up driving up. Well, JP ends up driving up there. I'm playing passenger princess, and we're just talking quite professionally about the poetry scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on the right there or back, but I probably like asked you something along the lines of kind of like what would you do in my position or something like that. And end up talking about that. And you said the words, I think word for word, get some stickers or something. At this point, I don't think I have anything kind of like going on with the brand. I don't think I've done a rebrand. I'm just going by Corey.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was like, okay, cool. That's a place to start. I can get some stickers. Perfect. And it was like in that process, I pull up Canva. I make all my designs on Canva. Pull up Canva, and I say that to say I know a little Photoshop and Illustrator, but I keep it as simple as possible.
Yes. That's a bar right there, right there.
As possible while I can. And I end up around this time also thinking of like naming and rebranding. I had I was trying to come up with a name and I wanted a name that was like short is what I came to the conclusion of. In general, going to the VIP thing, I think also really just opened my eyes to realizing how much I missed the scene. And
Hmm.
so I just kind of like went crazy with JP's advice and then like the energy from that night specifically.
Mm.
And killed your feature. Or supposed to say like superhero names, misspoken poet, killed your
Yeah,
feature.
yeah, yeah. That's hard.
But no, and so yeah, I went home. At some point I'm trying to come up with the name. I won't say what the other name is because I might do something with it later.
I
But
got you.
coming up with ink. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like it's short, it's cute. I'm short, I'm cute. We're gonna roll with that a little
Right.
bit. And I'm just trying to come up with the Instagram handle. So I'm like, I get down to like ink on the mic because I personally prefer like I said, performing and stuff. And so I'm like ink on the mic. And then I end up coming up with ink writes poetry. And I'm like, how that sounds. Like it's a little entendre or whatever.
Mhm. Okay, okay, okay. I can't believe I've never really asked you to go into details with it. Absolutely is. That's wild. You play too much. You are scary. Like, cause you keep right, cause you gonna stop playing and unleash the flutes, unleash the cavalry. Excuse me. It's gonna be crazy.
Hey, but yeah, and I was like, that sounds cool. And then I was
Yeah.
like, commit to changing my Instagram name because for whatever reason, that it just sounded like it was gonna be this transition and all this stuff. Like, so I was like, okay, let me just do it. Ink writes poetry, cool. Change the Instagram name, start going by Ink at the mics and
Right.
stuff like that. People were like, oh, who's this? They see me walk up. I'm like,
That was
oh,
hilarious.
oh, that's what we're doing today.
Hey, low key, you that motivated, some people like, oh, I'm gonna go, one day, oh, let me switch it up. And I mean, other people have done that as well. But like, and one thing I gotta let people know who was bothering me about my book. That
Um,
one, that one. Like, so, yeah, I pushed you, and that was why I pushed you. Because I'm like, you was on me, and I appreciate it. That's how we got to the book. If you don't apply this to yourself, stop playing. So, salute. I just sent her energy back to her, and now look at her,
it's pretty cool because yeah, I remember that. I don't know what exactly where I was like, you need to do something so I could just
So
give
I
you money.
can pay you. I was like, yo, what the? Like,
It's a lot of people have it that simple, where they just want to support in some type of way.
yeah,
It's like a t-shirt or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of jumping a little bit. So yeah, I had like a couple names in mind, and I was like, let me just pick one, do it for 30 days. If I don't like it, just change it. Ink. We got the Instagram handle change, and I'm making stickers, and it's literally like just the word ink, and it's like I might have one right here. I wanna.
Is it this one or is it something else? I'm sure it's something else.
There we go. The sticker.
Okay, you
This
made
is
it.
how it started out.
Okay, okay.
So we
But
got.
keyword though, this is when you did what?
Oh,
This is
this is
when you good?
Where are you? No, are
Oh,
you?
okay. I'm like,
What were
are
you
you?
about to say?
My point, yeah, excuse me. My point was you started out. That's
Oh,
I
it started
just
out.
kind
I
of
knew. I was like,
reiterated.
you wanted something, and I don't know if I'm there right now.
Just said you good.
But
But
no, this is how it started out. I started with this thing. I put it on a shirt, like just a one-off shirt. I was like, okay, cool, let's try this out. Had a couple more sticker designs, and I was like, okay, I'm selling something. One day I made like 20 bucks selling stickers at a mic. I was like, yo, this is fire.
proof of concept.
I edited it some more and I made the white hoodie. I could actually, yeah, I do have Oh, this is not professional. Let me grab this for him. That did come prepared.
Oh shit. All right, we doing a hard cutoff at 15. I'm not playing with you. I
Oh
know
yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
one running, but like I'm not making you late on your joint. All right. Go ahead.
Cool. So this is what we started out with though. I wanted a white hoodie because I was like, everybody has a black hoodie or a black t-shirt, and I want to do something a little different.
Right.
So I was coming up with the stickers, did the white hoodie, and I'd really just remembered how much more I was into clothing like back in the day. So yeah, we got the ink white hoodie. I started getting that, started doing branding and stuff for that. I would consider this a little bit more like merch for my poetry. So just something to sell um as the artist. And then I realized it would be dope if I could really do like a clothing brand thing
Mm-hmm.
with like a whole bunch more designs. I won't do like the backstory for like all of them, but a couple more. I was coming up with this piece.
Right.
So pink rose flowers jersey.
That is
Um,
the whole story. You got to do that yourself if you don't. If
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
already okay. Yeah, there you go. That ain't for me. That's
Oh
for.
no, yeah, I got you. But
Shout out
yeah.
to shout out to your channel real quick while we there. My fault. Shout out to.
Oh, my YouTube channel is my name is Corey.
Okay.
My name is Korie.
All right.
But
Go get
yeah, I
that.
just figured out to say I came up with both of those designs at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Two completely different things going on. I feel like a lot of people will think about stuff creatively and they're like, oh, I got to pick something. I want to focus on something. And that's cool sometimes. Like that's the space for it. But it's also like it's kind of try new things out. Like if someone were to take something from this, it's like ideas are gonna fluctuate, develop, evolve over time. Like you have to start. Like you
Right.
can't keep it
Right.
every.
Yeah. There you go.
Um,
That's
but
perfect.
yeah, and then I just started making more designs. When I sold these out, I was like, oh, this is different than when I did it back in the day.
Mm.
I'm doing this smarter. I'm not just I don't just have a whole bunch of inventory sitting
Right.
around. Um, and yeah, it's gone pretty well now. We're in like officially month 3, I think. And this is like the highest selling month for
Nice.
gross sales.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, it's not a real can't be a real coincidence. Like you putting in that work. I mean, as far as like promo, if anybody listening is not here knowing what she's doing, right? Like just go to the page as of February, May, early March. Like she's very intentional, and that again, like you said, I'm trying. I do want to. I have a question and we'll see. I don't know the answer, but you're very intentional. You're very like, nah, I have this. I want y'all to see that. I'm doing a photo shoot. I want y'all to pay. Like, I'm really putting in work on this, and they're gonna in turn be like, she's really putting in work on this. Let me support this, actual quality business. My question for you, just real quick, have you ever used, oh, I wasn't taking it seriously as like as a psychological excuse, or is it pretty much every single time like, nah, I was playing a little bit that one.
You mean in terms of you're saying how have I used that as an excuse?
Yeah, it's like, oh, this didn't, like it was a reverse joint, oh, it didn't work out, I wouldn't try it anyway, you know what I mean? Like, have
Oh,
you ever done
I
that?
see. Um, hmm. I mean, at some point, yes.
Nah.
I um I take most things serious now when it comes to my business. So
Yeah.
it just hasn't happened as much. I mean, I probably will say that in like a year. I'm just like, oh yeah, I was just I was just taking pictures or something.
Yeah.
So I feel like that might be like a hindsight thing.
Okay. Okay. I mean, no, that's very, yeah. I ain't no judge. I appreciate that. I appreciate, just yeah, I might do it again. Like it's
Yeah, yeah.
because I feel like I'm like, no, for sure at some point in the past, and I think a lot less had happened, these days, like these days it's like you said, that was a bar. I'm taking it serious now. I'm just the switch is on right now. But, yeah, maybe something don't go.
I feel yeah, because in the moment I feel like I do be taking it serious
Right.
and then I like eh
Right. You reflect, yeah.
Like, because I feel like, like I said, in a year from now, I'll probably be like, but you weren't posting every day, or but you weren't. Like, there will always be something that I'm very self-critical, so there will always be something that I'm gonna find like with that phrase.
Right.
But I be thinking that I'm doing something in every stage.
I got you. And that's also fair. And I appreciate that. So, all right, we talking about, yeah, that's a good one for like future, like a year from now. Like what are you, what is coming up? Oh my God, when I talk to you personally, there's so many ideas. So what are the ones that's like, y'all look out for this, this is coming soon, type joint.
For the brand and well, I guess I like goals or just things I
What,
have.
yeah, the up and what can people look forward to that you're like willing to, so this, like even this is turning around, so features in the next 2 3 month from now, brand idea that you want people to like, let me give y'all some hype about it type stuff, that type.
Okay, I got you. In general, with my features, I want to do more collaborations. This is not in progress right now, but I want to do more collaborations. I've talked to people about things, but just in general, I'm really like getting into theatrics of people performing and their sets and stuff. And I think it's that sauce. It's like that thing I really want to get into. Like I have a feature after this, you all. So I am doing like the closest thing I've gotten to that is like wearing multiple items and like taking it off during stage and being like, oh, this represents.
Mhm.
I've done that with like this shirt before and stuff. Like so um theatrics as well as collaborations when it comes to
Okay,
feet.
nice.
That is a very, very big goal. But how big is it if I'm not working? It's in the works.
Oh,
And then as far as the clothing brand, I don't know, my brain is in so many places. I told myself for the next year to really, well, maybe like 9 months to just like be okay with like experimenting, like not feeling like I have to have that one thing. Like I said, these are like two very different styles. Like this is a screen printed thing that, I hit up a guy, he buys the hoodies and then prints over them. And then this is something that like I got hand designed like in China and stuff.
okay.
Um, so two very different styles of things. I do want to lean more towards this eventually,
Mm,
and would like to brand to be at like a higher level with stuff. But I also want to kind of have like my classics.
right.
Um, I do want to make a Letterman jacket to say like a specific item. I want to, I wanted to do that first. Then I was like, you're supposed to kind of do rollouts, think about your seasons in advance and
Right.
stuff. So we'll do that. So that might be coming up during a certain day.
Mm.
That people could probably guess it if they do some research on something. Maybe. I don't know. Figure out when that's gonna
Nice
drop.
nice teaser. I like that.
Yeah, and then in general, I need to be vending more, just like really getting that in-person interaction with people, potentially collaborating in certain capacities with
Right.
people, other poets. I really want to do more of that. I think I mentioned to you I do want a sort of event thing.
Right.
Um, something where like the group is talking, maybe workshopping, maybe I don't think I want it to be a mic. I don't necessarily know if I want to make it a podcast though, but
Mm,
you can tell I like talking and I like picking people's brains too.
right.
So,
Right.
um, yeah, those would be like the three main things with like my own personal performance style, stuff with clothing, just really just getting it out there more, and
Yeah.
then having that event that could really bring together community in a different way.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's dope. Yeah. So those again, if you don't, it's always working. She really is like the goal is serving the community. So whenever you do figure out what type of, I don't know, we'll say visual presence or whatever that looks like and how you're spent, I'm gonna be looking forward. For sure, it's gonna be fire because you have been letting these ideas stew and getting that and like you said, the creativity, like let's have fun with this. What's gonna happen? I already did this, and that. Like now, I can have for like if this works, cool, and if it doesn't, all right, let me shift and pivot. So, very 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 dope. So, all right, so YouTube channel. We're giving you the why to keep in touch with her. You know what I mean? Like she's because she's a vibe and has a lot of stuff going on, and is gonna motivate you with what she's doing. You know what I mean? To jump out there yourselves. Instagram.
Ink Writes Poetry on Instagram. Can also follow the Inkpad HQ. That is the business page. And the Inkpad is what I've named my apartment, which is like a creative studio. It's where I package all my things, do my photo shoot. Well, not plural, but photo shoot things happen here.
Yeah,
And yes, those would be the two main Instagrams. Poetry at gmail.com for all bookings,
nice.
inquiries. Um, yeah, my name is Ink, and you can also call me Corey. I'm cool with either. I try to respond to DMs. I'm always down to give people game on business and stuff too. Like I don't particularly gatekeep any.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, like I'm trying to see us all win, and I feel like whatever you're thinking that you're trying to do, like you could probably for sure do it. Just
yeah.
take those steps and get educated in the right ways. So,
Yeah, yeah, heavy on that. I think sometimes we are like somebody else is already doing it, and it's like, so what? They're not doing something that you particularly could bring. So way more people like do the self doubt and cancel themselves out. So shout again, that's why I'm just shout out to you for being willing to jump out there. You're learning stuff that I'm reading a book about, but you're doing it. So that's a huge difference. You know what I mean? So yeah, we can pretty much. I think the thing is, it was never going to cover everything going on with Corey, which is great. So this was like a teaser, like a little bit into what's going on with you. So like, go follow her socials. Go get in tune with her, like people that are around the area. Like check her out more, support this. Like Corey doing some things for real. So I really appreciate that we took this time. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was great to have you. So I really appreciate you taking this time out.
much appreciated. I'm a fan of the podcast. Go check the other episodes out. Okay, I be having them joints on at work. Like,
That's crazy. I gotta do this again. All right, so Ink writes poetry. I gotta send you. They be giving me these paid, these scripted, please shout me out type joints. So good looking out. But she really is. She really is. She's been showing love for a long time. So it only makes sense that Corey got, opportunity to do her thing. So yes, thank you, Corey. Y'all follow her. And we're gonna wrap this up. This was another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast, and y'all take it easy. All right.
I don't know what I just did.
I
No,
don't either.
take that. Hold on.
Oh, I don't either.